Friends, before we get to the good stuff, it is crucial to understand that trading is risky. Understand that the people we speak with have been doing this for years and have put countless hours into honing their craft. These are the people on the other side of your trades. So please, we will not give you buy or sell recommendations, and this video should not be mistaken as financial advice. Always do your own research and never trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Now let's meet our guest today. So today we have a very special guest, Xavey from MX Trading. Xavier's been trading since 2020. His career gains are over 750,000, 280,000 coming from this year alone. We are recording this on June 15th, so we're about halfway through the year. Xavi has a 1.46 profit factor, 50% win rate. His winners are about 1.4x the size of his losers. And he's had about 9,000 trades just this month alone. So, Xavi, you're in the Relentless Trader Discord, which is how I met you. I always see your beefy P&L posts. I know you trade very similar to Crispy, who we had on episode 1 of the podcast. But I guess you trade a lot more than Crispy, given just the unbelievable number of trades you've had this month alone. But I guess we'll get into that a little bit later. Why don't you start by just giving us a little bit of background on how you got started?
Yeah, sure. Before that, I just want to thank you, BMAC, for inviting me to this podcast and showcasing a lot of like smaller traders like myself, Crispy, and others. But yeah, just a brief summary of my early stages in my trading career is I started, like I said, 2020. Um, actually, I started like way before, like 2017. That's my first days of like stock market. I don't know if you remember, like during the crypto bull run.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I got my first taste of like losses because I put in like $500 on my crypto account. Then I lose. Well, obviously, I lose everything. Then I dabble a little bit on the stock market. Then I forgot about it until like the pandemic. And fast forward to 2020. Then what happened was, so everyone's locked down and where everyone's like just chilling at home, and like my cousin hit me up. Like I remember this, like June 2020. He told me that he's like trading the stock market. I should try it. He's making a lot of money out of it. I was like, ah, like everyone that is not unaware of the stock market are a little bit skeptical about it, right? Like I
Yeah.
was like, I don't believe you. Like you're making like paper money or something like that. So I was very skeptical at first. Then he showed me like, oh, he made like 2,000 for this day. It's like, probably he's right. So he gave me an access to like one of the YouTubers back then. Like he has his course, so I studied that, like just the basic ones. Then that YouTuber, I don't want to name him. He trades futures, which is very slow for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that, oh, I found this another guy that live streams every morning. His name is Ross from Warrior Trading. So we watch him every single morning, and I pattern my trading from him. But I do have my own personality, and I believe that it's now I could say that I'm very different trader than Ross. But I would like to shout out Ross because he's one of the like the mentors that I was looking up to earlier back then. And yeah, so like fast forward to September 2020, I asked my cousin, like told him like, can I borrow like 25K so I can open like an account? And because I'm pretty much broke back then, I have like $2,000 on my account, and like because I'm under PDT, I'm limited to my trades.
Mm-hmm.
So he was skeptical, like, I don't know if you might lose my 25K. And I told him that no, I'm just gonna put like the 25K and then like add my 2K. Then like if I lost my 2K, I'll give back the 25K. Then yeah, he suddenly gave me the 25K, and I was able to pay him after 5 months. Then the
Wow.
rest is history. Yeah,
Wow.
because I was very confident like I can do it. I was just limited with my trades. That's
Yeah.
how confident I was.
So going back to Ross, I guess. I mean, it just seems like a rite of passage for everybody, especially during. I mean, it seems like everybody I talked to went through Ross in 2020.
Yeah,
All the COVID traders, they all went through Ross, and I totally agree with you. Where you're trading in Ross, I think it's really good content. He's a
it
very
is.
open and honest trader, and it's hard to find that
It
elsewhere.
is.
So your cousin gives you $25,000
Yep.
and you said, okay, basically, I'm going to risk this $2,000. And if I
My
lose it,
my
I'm
own
done.
money. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And you were able to make the $25,000 in 6 months. What gave you how did you start trading there? What were you risking? Were you risking like $10 a trade, or were you just going to hammer it?
So like once I got the money, um, I did a little bit of sim trading in Thinkorswim. I actually did it for only 2 days because it like I personally I think that I don't need to stay longer in the sim. But like I remember my first my share size was like 100. My biggest was like I think 250 for the first week. Then I sized up pretty quickly the following week. I think I did like 500 shares. Then after a month of trading, I did my first 1K. I was sweating bullets when I did my first 1K shares. I wouldn't lie. That's like I don't know what to do and stuff like that. And yeah, so it was kind of funny now to reminisce some of my early days.
Did you have data that proved that you were profitable that gave you the confidence to kind of bet that 2K at the very beginning?
Um, Not really because like I think it helped me uh become confident because I do have a mentor, which is my cousin. I usually go to his house because we're like neighbors. We're like 15 minutes apart. So I remember before, like I go there to his house like 5:30 a.m. We're living in the West Coast, so I go there like 5:30 a.m. I'll just watch him trade for a month, and he told me like every trade breakdowns, why he bought there, why he sold there, why he scratched his trades right there, and he helped me uh with the learning curve. To be honest, like it took me like just a week or two to finally get it. So I don't
Wow.
have any data. Probably just I have that mentor.
And so fast forward, you said you were taking 1,000 shares, you're sweating bullets. How long until you got to the size that you're at now? Or is that still evolving?
I think I found my sweet spot of my share size. I tried to put more share size on it, but because I think the listeners will understand if you're trading in Ticker Swim, there's always a limitation with share size. If you put more share size, it's either the Thinkorswim servers are either lagging or like the fills are bad. So I found that sweet spot. Uh, but yeah, sometimes I try to size up more. But this month, especially during the summer months, we all know that everything's slow. So I try to size down to my minimum. And yeah,
So what does a typical trading day look like for you? Obviously you're West Coast, you're getting up super early.
yeah,
I kind of feel your pain. I'm in mountain time, but I
yeah.
don't know that extra hour. I really appreciate that extra hour.
I think at, at first, like, I'm not a morning person. Like, I love late night, like watching Netflix before and stuff like that. And so I force myself to wake up early. And it takes a while. It takes a dedication to do it. Um, but like, I think the most important, I guess, is having a routine. Like almost all profitable traders has a routine. I have my own routine. So like a typical day for me is like wake up at 5:30, have my coffee. I don't do meditation and stuff like that. My meditation is like brewing my coffee. That's my meditation. And I don't put like I try not to put any trades pre-market. That's what I'm working working in as of late, because I know based on my statistics is like um, I don't make a lot in pre-market, so I try not to like either size up, or if I'm gonna trade, I'm gonna use the most like 100 shares or 200 shares, just to dabble a little bit. Um, then yeah, so work starts at 6:30, ends around like 7:30 in the morning. 8 depends on how hot the market is. Uh, Sometimes I try not to trade beyond 8 a.m. and I just watch the charts until like 9. Then it's either I will go to the gym at 9 a.m. or like have a nap, then go back to power hour. After that, power hour is around like 11 a.m. here, or 11:30. Yeah. Then we'll just watch the charts, see if there's like a pending news or something, or a breaking news until like 1 p.m. Then after that, I chill. After the market close, I chill until like 6 p.m. Then 6 p.m. that's where I study. So that's pretty consistent. Like 6 p.m. I usually study my trades. I watch other traders trade. That's very important too. Like I don't copy them. I just want to see how they do it.
Yeah, that's a really important piece that you touch on. Watching other traders trade. I know that's something that I do every day. That's part of my routine. I mean, sometimes I'm busy or whatnot and I can't watch, but I've got probably 3 or 4 traders who they have live streams, they have live trading sessions, and you can see the ins and outs of how someone else is profitable. And you're right, doesn't really affect how I trade, but it's good to know what's working, what's not working in the market. How do you use those live streams?
Um, I think it's similar as you do. Like I just want to see how they trade it. Like, say, oh, okay, it makes sense that they buy here, and this is where I made a mistake and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I'm not copying those trades. Um, well, 50-50, I guess, because because most of the traders that I follow is like the similar pattern as mine.
Let's see. So, getting into your strategy, you talked
Mhm.
about the times a day that you trade there. Is the midday kind of off limits for you because of just a lack of volume and volatility?
No, actually, sometimes I stay until like 9, 10. It depends on like if I want to work out. Um, but like today is there's a stock that move midday. Um, but I don't restrict myself. Like I told a lot of people, if there's something moving, why are you gonna stop trading?
So, I know I touched on this earlier. You traded kind of similar strategy to Crispy. I know I've seen some of your live trading in Relentless Trader when you've shared your screen. Um, but what sort of criteria are you looking for to enter a trade? Could you break that down for us?
Yeah. So I primarily trade small caps. I prefer um in a dollar range until like probably $10 range. Those are my criteria. Anything low float is pretty good for me. Anything beyond like 20 million, I'm a little skeptical with trading it, because I do trade a bigger share size, so it moves a lot of the momentum, especially if it's a thin float. It's a little bit riskier. But yeah, that's those are my criteria. But I also do trade like sometimes like large cap. It depends on how the price action moves. Like if it does like a small cap action, I sometimes dabble a little bit of it. But it's kind of hard for me to trust it because I'm like small caps and large caps is like night and day.
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. Um, so, as far as entering a trade, what exactly are you looking for? What's the kind of criteria?
So like when I enter a trade, I usually start with just a starter, just to feel the stock. It's kind of yeah, like my most minimum like 100 shares. I
Mhm.
try to trade it first like that. So okay, it moves. It has like this kind of range. It has like 10 cents of range. It has 20 cents of range, or it has like 5 cents of range. So like it's just to feel the stock. Then once I'm comfortable, once I've seen my setup, like some of the setups that my A plus setups, like the false breakdowns is one of my A plus setups. I mean, breakout trades is also like a A plus setup, but lately it's been like choppy because it's a summer market. But if it's a hot market, it's pretty consistent. Those are some of my A plus setups. But usually I dabble first with smaller share size, then I try to build up those confidence. I think the biggest like part of my trading is building that confidence.
Right. So every stock is different. Every stock trades differently. Different
Yes,
fills, I'm guessing.
yes. Every stock has its own personality.
So do you find that you get filled better or worse with larger size? I know this seems like a stupid question because you'd be like, well, why would I ever get filled better with larger size?
Uh, there's a lot of factors on it. It's sometimes it's the Thinkorswim servers, sometimes it's my own judgment. Like I'm not confident enough to get to enter. Um, then I get filled at the top, so it's kind of like sucks. But yeah, there's a lot of factors. But regarding with it's 50-50, I would say. It's not 100%. It sucks to get filled better with a larger size, or it's bad to fit if you have a larger size. But yeah, it really depends, to be honest.
Okay. So how long after taking like your 100 share starters or your kind of feeler trades, how many of those will you take before you be like, okay, it's time to load up?
There's no limit. Like it depends. Um like if it's not my setup, I usually just take like my starter size. That's why a lot of people that watches my stream, they were like, dude, I'm not even know how you do it. Like from 3K, then you went back to 300. Like, I don't know how you do it. It's just like for me, it's just like it mentally resets me. Okay, I need to not, because I know myself. Like if I trade consistently with this amount of share size, I know I'm gonna be or I'm gonna have a lot of paper cuts, and I'm trying to minimize those because I trade a lot.
So walk us through. You said that the fake breakdown setup is one of your A plus setups.
Yes.
What does that look like?
So like it made it a new high. So let's just say that stock A made a new high, then it pulls back, and it's having this range. Uh, let's just say I'll put it on like on a dollar amount. So let's just say that stock A moved to $5. That's his day high. Then it pulls back to 450. Then it's staying to like 450 to 470 on that range. It's not breaking out. It's not breaking down. Then it breaks down 450, but there was a hidden bid, or there was like people buying under 450, and that's the false breakdown. That's where I get in. Like I'm waiting for that like hidden buyer to step up and pick up the bids under it. Then I try to break out 450, and it goes back to, usually it goes back to 470 and break that level. But if there's a little hesitation right there, I sold.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it seems like a lot of traders have this. I know Crispy has this. I know Marcelo, Mighty Stocks, plays this a lot.
Yeah.
So when the stock breaks down, are you waiting for it to kind of reclaim? Are you waiting to see that green on the tape, or are you just buying and then selling if it doesn't immediately bounce?
Um. Right now, before I try to buy first, but it's not always 100% guaranteed that it's gonna bounce back. So I try to wait for like 1 or 2 seconds and see if, like you said, like there's a green on the tape, or there's like a hesitation to break down more.
Hmm.
So, but sometimes it's really hard. Like you get filled like really high. That's the trade-off.
Right. Yeah. If you wait, you get filled high. If you don't
Yeah,
wait, you get filled on the bid, but who knows where the bid's going, right?
yeah. It could go lower.
Right. And so, as far as the exit goes, what do you watch for there?
Like the previous resistance, which is like I said, 470. If there's a little hesitation right there, I sell half. then like I'm just uh chipping out like my wins after that.
Gotcha. So you will you hold a piece then for a larger move?
I try to, yeah, I try to hold as much as I can.
So I noticed that you trade. I mean, you said that your range is like $1 to $10, but I've also noticed just from your screenshots in Discord that you really like some of the higher price stocks that have pretty crazy spreads. I say IPX. I think it was Tuesday. I was
Hmm.
watching the stock. I think it was like 13 or $14. The spread
Yeah,
was it was jumping around between like 10 cents and like 40 cents.
yeah.
But I think you had a
Aver
pretty good day on IPX. Is that right?
Yes. So I think it was playing around like $30, or I'm sorry, $20 to $30. But yeah, I'm not limiting myself with um $1 to $10 stock. I just prefer those ones because I can size up, and there's more liquidity on those ranges.
Mhm.
Then if it goes to beyond $10, that's where it's kind of it's harder to size up. So like I'm not sizing up with my full size, and yeah, but like it's much more, to be honest, it's much more crazier during those prices.
No, I agree. I can't trade those above 10 stocks. And that's why I'm so in awe that you're able to be so profitable on those. The one thing that scares me the most is the spread, right? Because I don't want to get filled on the ask and then have
Yeah,
to sell on the bid and take a pretty sizable loss. How do
yeah.
you get by that?
Um, it's more of like 40% intuition, like gut feeling. I think that's the most important part of usually when I trade those kinds of stock. Um, I r- Not that I don't buy dip buys. Like it depends. That there's dip buys that is very bullish, and there's dip buys that is like a trap or something. I buy those bullish dip buys, but like most of my trades uh are, I would say, like breakout trades. I would say. But yeah, I think like 40% is intuition, and because I forced myself earlier that to watch these kinds of moves before, and like it's hard for me to explain it, but like I I, I told myself, oh, I've seen this move before. Okay, I'll size up in here. So yeah.
And so when you say breakouts, because you take 9,000 trades a month, so there can't be that many breakouts, right?
No,
What kind
no,
of
no, no,
what
no.
kind of breakouts are you taking? Like the 1 second chart breakouts? Like what kind of breakouts are you taking?
Um, I would say like the range breakouts. Those are really good. The higher day breakouts also. But not every breakouts I'm gonna trade those
When you say
because
range breakout,
it's
w-
like I sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, with a range breakout, like I said earlier, if like there's a range that is happening, example, it's ranging to $5 to 450. It is if it break that $5 range, that's where I don't buy at $5, but I try to buy like 10 cents below that
Hmm.
to wait for that breakout.
Gotcha. And so would you, with a range breakout, would you buy like a 1 minute range, a 5 minute range, a 30 minute range?
Uh, I think the most uh I think consistent for me that I've seen is if it lines up with the 1 minute and the 5 minute.
Hmm.
And that's another A plus setup that I have, like the range breakout 5-minute setup. That's one of my A plus. If it's lining up with the 1 minute, it's also pretty good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so on these spreadier stocks, if you're buying market, which I believe you buy market, right?
Yes, I do.
So are you expecting to get filled on the ask, or are you kind of expecting to get filled on the bid or in between the spread?
I always expect it to get filled at the ask, but if it gets filled, sometimes I get lucky. I get filled at the bid, so I'm happy with that. And I
Yeah.
try to when I try to get those good fills, I try to hold it.
Yep. So if
Yeah.
it's on the bid and then it bounces away immediately, you're looking to hold that.
I look into hold that. Like I give it time to like uh build up the breakout. But
Mhm.
if I got filled near the ass, I'm trying to exit as much as like if it doesn't break out as fast as I want to, I just exit it. That's why I do have a lot of trades because I do have a lot of scratch trades.
Mhm. As far as hold time goes, you're looking to exit, you're looking to enter and then pretty much exit immediately if it does not go in your favor, right?
Yes.
And then if it does go in your favor, you're thinking like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or does it depend on, I guess, the structure, the candlestick structure and where might be resistance and because it's very probably
Yeah,
dependent on the setup.
it depends on like the structure of the charts, price action. There's a lot of factors. If it's like blue skies, I try to hold it as much as I can. And if it's holding, I try to hold for the holds. Um, but yeah, if there's a little hesitation, especially with the stocks that I trade, it could easily flush on you.
Mhm.
And that's the I think that's the most important part is having the experience of trading these things. And I've been trading since 2020. I've been to like GME, Kodak, some of those. I've seen everything. Well, not everything, but like I think it's just gaining a lot of experience on those stocks. Help me define where my exit is, I guess.
Right. Yeah. You've seen the setup 100 times. You know what it should do and what it shouldn't do, how it
Yeah.
should
Yep.
react. Yep.
hmm
Yep. Makes sense. So, how important is level two in your trading?
So I primarily use Active Trader. So for our listeners that doesn't trade on Thinkorswim, it's kind of like a level two. But it's because I've noticed that I'm more a visual learner. I want to see the price goes up, price goes down, and like that's my level two. But I do have like a separate level two just for the halt levels. But I I try to use it early on. It's just hard for me to process it faster, I guess, because I can see the price going up or going down.
So, do you use the price ladder or what do you watch? I guess when you're trading, are you watching the chart, price ladder?
I'm price ladder. Like
Okay,
70% will be on the price ladder, 30% with the charts.
gotcha. And will you take time and sales into consideration?
Yes, yeah. Especially when it's not breaking out. Like if there's a lot of green on the tape, or if it's not breaking down, if there's a lot of red on the tape, like okay, I'll enter on this because it's not breaking down.
Right, hidden seller on the tape,
Yep, pretty much.
buy it up. Yep. Do you have any specific like level two setups that you look for? I mean, you just described one of them, a hidden seller or a hidden buyer.
Yeah.
Any other ones that you like?
Uh, the micro pullbacks, I like those ones, especially when it's breaking out. So when it breaks out like a level, um, like you don't know where is it gonna stop, and there's like micro pullbacks in between those to the next breakout. So I like those ones. So whenever I see like a little pullback on like a certain level, like the whole dollar, half dollar ones, so I try to buy those things.
So the price breaks out of say like a dollar, and
Yeah.
then you're looking to buy the pullback into a dollar. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So it still depends on like how strong the breakout is. Like if it only breakouts like 1 cent, I'm not gonna buy those because it's pretty much like a false breakout. But like if it breaks out like 10 cents, I'll look into buy anything near a dollar. Sometimes it doesn't touch the dollar because people are buying those like 101 or 102.
You talked about your trading back from 2020. Has your trading changed at all since then? Or are you pretty much doing the same style since
Um,
2020?
I think my style is still the same. I just added a lot of like uh setups. Like I still trade momentum. I still trade like the similar range as before. I just added more like strategies to become more profitable.
So what were you doing initially? Were you doing like breakouts or dip buys? and then you added other ones, or
Uh, I think I was doing a lot of like breakouts before until GME. Oh, not GME. I forgot the stock, but there is a stock that put me on a big red, so I stopped trading.
AMC?
No, no, no. It's like earlier. It's a COVID stock, but
Okay.
it's one of those. Yeah. But I was primarily just doing a lot of breakout trades before. I still do right now, but like it's more calculated, I guess, rather than because before I watched my old videos and everything was just moving like crazy back then. Like the range is crazy. Like I think about myself. If I have the similar experience and if I traded 2020, I probably make like 20 to 30K per day because it's so easy to trade those stocks. But now you need to have diversity with your setups. There's a lot of like also there's a lot of like pandemic traders that already made marking with this industry, and yeah,
Yeah, I've looked back at some of my clips that I have recorded from I think it was 2021. I think it was the GME craze, and how read the level two and the price action now. I mean, it's like it's completely different back then. I mean, it's
yeah,
the level two is just going nuts. I remember being able to. One of my strategies back then was buying the bid and then just selling the ask. Just I was being a market maker, but there was so much liquidity that you could buy the bid, and it was like a market. It was like a market order, and I would do what you said earlier, where I would test it with 100 shares, and if I could do it like successfully, like 3 times over, 5 times over, whatever, then I just size up and I just keep doing it. And obviously there's a little bit of an art because you don't want to get caught in a flush, but it was just crazy the amount of liquidity that was available back then.
yeah. Also, I think the biggest difference is I was only doing limit orders back then.
Mm.
I'm not using market orders.
Limit on the bid or limit on the ask?
Limit on the bid.
So you were only
So
buying on the bid back then.
I was only buying on the bid because I was scared of buying on the market.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest difference. And if it like I remember back then, and if it goes to my bid, it's already flushing. So
were
I think
you
that was.
were you
Go
taking
ahead,
the
sorry.
same size as you were today? I mean, like, because
No,
I could assume, you pop in a 4,000, 5,000 share order on the bid, or maybe even maybe it's even 10,000 or whatever, and that would scare people away. That would be me, front running your order, like, oh, there's a big bidder, I'm gonna get them.
yeah. I think the biggest size, if I remember, is like 1,000 shares, but I didn't go beyond that
Okay.
because I changed my strategy like 2 months after.
Yeah, so different back then.
It is it's easier.
Yeah, yeah. But that brings up a good point. I mean, what worked back then what doesn't work now, and honestly, what you do now might not even have worked back then. I mean, you probably would have had to change little things about it to fine tune and adapt to a different market. So, I
Yeah,
mean, could you talk about just how important adapting is to being a successful and trader?
definitely. So back then, the breakouts it takes a while. If it's gonna break out, gonna break out like for good 2 to 3 minutes, and it's not stopping. And if it dips, it's also not stopping. So that's why I was skeptical of like dip buying. Even now, I'm still skeptical of dip buying because like I remember before, if I dip buy, it's gonna go lower than I expected. Um, that's why I'm trying to adapt. Uh, I'm still trying to adapt more dip buying on my strategy and being more confident with it. But yeah, I think adaptability is very important if you want to become a profitable trader. We do have market cycles, we do have bullish markets, we do have bearish markets. It's my number one rule is always saving your capital. and the next one is like just the profitability. So if you could save up your capital during those like bearish market, if you're long, or like smart summer market usually is ours low. If you could save your capital, that's already a win. Then when it starts to become hot again, that's where you push the buttons.
Right. Do you have any other trading rules that you adhere to on a day-to-day basis?
Uh, what else? I think so. Saving the capital or equity. Not trading during dead hours. That's I try to I try to implore that rule. Because you're pretty much trading with algos by then. Um, Not over trading, which I don't know if I'm following it. But it's one because like it's still my problem to this day. Since I started trading 2020, I don't stop on my peak profits. I usually give back something, and sometimes I give back a lot. And it's kind of like I'm pretty used to it, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm still working on that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, have you had what's been your experience with just managing your emotions? Obviously, you were scaling up a lot at first, and you're way bigger now than you were at first. I mean, did you go through any uh, tough cycles during that scaling up phase?
Definitely. So I was profitable when I first started trading, and I never had any red months until I want to say the later part of 2021. I think it was around August of 2021 until June of 2022. So during those times, I was pretty flat. I wasn't making money. I was like break even month. I have a break even month. So it was pretty tough for me. And I was to the point of trying to uh, do a lot of like setups that it's not based on my personality. And yeah, I was actually almost about to give up during those times. This was really hard. But August 2022, I don't know, something just clicked. It was one of the best months that I have. So after almost like 6 to 7 months of break even months, I made 150K in August of 2022.
So August of 2022 was when HKD came about. So for the
I
viewers who
well,
don't remember August 2022, it was a wild month of volatility, and I'd say it lasted for probably like
the whole
three to
month.
4 weeks. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I think it kind of started to die down a little bit. But so what happened? You were able to carry that momentum past August then?
After that, I went on vacation. So like I went to Asia. For those people that doesn't know, I am a first generation immigrant from the Philippines. So I went back home in the Philippines. So I stayed there for until December. I tried trading there, but it's kind of hard. So pretty much like a break even months until December when I went back here to the States. Then I made also a good month. Only traded 2 months or not 2 months, 2 weeks on December, but I made almost pretty good money.
And I
But
think
yeah,
you missed out on some of the really dead periods. I know I gave back some money during that fall period. It was at least for me, it was very dead. So I think you actually
mhm,
saved yourself some money there
yeah.
by leaving. What was difficult about trading from the Philippines? Out of curiosity, was it internet connection or?
I think it's yeah, internet connection. And also the servers are based in New York, so it's
Hmm.
like even though you have a faster internet, because I went to Singapore and they have the fastest internet, one of the fastest internet in the world, and still it was it like my fills are delayed for like a second or 2 seconds.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I told myself, oh, I'm not gonna trade until like I get back to the states.
Yep. As far as managing your emotions with large size, have you had any issues with that, or is that pretty smooth?
At first, yes. Like it's still if I have a larger share size, my the dynamics of trading or holding for a little bit longer, it also changes because like you're scared of holding this kind of amount of share size. Um, but I try not to focus on the share size, but I try to focus on the process. Like I know this is my setup. I try to be more confident with it. But yeah, sometimes it hinders it. It hinders my exits. I try to not let the stock do its thing first. Um, Man, it takes a while.
So focus on process over profits is what you're saying.
Yes, yes. I think that's the most important part. Is just like even though um, you're trading, like to our listeners, is you're trading like small share size, you don't mind those things because eventually, once you get to that point, the only thing that you're gonna think about is just the process, not the profits.
Yep, it's all monopoly money, right?
Yes, yes.
The money is just
it,
points.
it's paper money.
Yep. No, that's great advice. As far as, do you have any other advice for traders who are looking to get started? You know, what do they need to be successful in this game?
Yeah. Um, as cliche as it sounds, is just trust the process. Um, and have everyone has their own personality, and find your own niche, find your own personality, and base that on your trading. Don't copy anyone based on because they're profitable. Don't copy them. I mean, you could base your trades over them, but don't completely copy them. And because everyone has a different personality, everyone has their own risk tolerance, and also have a routine. That's the most important part of trading is having that routine. Like I said earlier, every profitable trader has their own routine. And also just don't give up. Like as yeah, just if you're confident with this industry, you'll make it. If I did make it, you could also make it.
Right. Yeah, 95% of traders fail because they give up before they make it, right? That's what I've heard.
Y- Yeah. And you could also I mean, I'm not a big fan of simulator, but if you don't have the equity or capital, you could start on there. But I wouldn't like stay there for like a year or so
Right.
because it's different. It's different. The feels are different when it's like live.
Yep. That's good advice. And for yourself, what are your goals and aspirations for the future?
So like today's June, right? June 2023, and I told myself like I'll be happy if I hit like 250K. I already passed that, so I told myself, okay, if I hit half a million, so that's my goal this year. I'll be happy with that. If not, it's okay, but still because we're not satisfied with our own, so yeah, that's my goal is 500K, and eventually probably move my strategy more into shorting. That's my next goal. Um, because I've seen a lot of like the big traders, they usually just primarily short. So that's my next goal. Once I hit 500K, um, probably I'll start transitioning to shorting, and also probably start my own YouTube channel. And because a lot of like traders needs to see the process, and there's not a lot of like transparency in this industry. And to be honest, I don't really need the money from like courses. I just want to give back to the people, um, my experiences and stuff like that. So yeah, those are my short-term goals this year.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Do you have a YouTube handle right now or?
No, but well, I do have it, but it's not set up. It's called MX Trading. If you guys could check it out, that's I'll be glad if you guys check it out. But yeah, I will post eventually, hopefully, my raw footages over there and my commentary, and also hopefully this podcast. So yeah,
Awesome. Well, I think you guys would be fools to not check it out. If you're gonna be posting raw footage, I'll be there. I'll add
yes.
you to the many list of traders that I recap on every night. Yeah. Well, thank you, Xavi, for coming on the podcast. I think you've given us a lot of information to digest. It was a pleasure, and hope to have you on again sometime soon.
Thank you so much.